G'day everybody. So this video is going to be about modifying a standard aluminium propeller. I am wanting a little bit more top end speed out of this, and I would like a little bit more grip on the water. It cavitates while I turn the boat. So yeah, we're going to get into that video today. I do have a few full racing propellers. This one's a cleaver. We're going to look at what we can do to change this to be a little bit more like this, not too much. I still want this to be an all-purpose propeller, but yeah, what can we do to achieve a little bit better performance out of a standard prop like this? All right, let's get into it. So for starters, we'll just have a quick visual look on the blade shapes between a full racing propeller and a standard everyday aluminium, fishing propeller. So you can see the leading edge of these blades on the racing propeller compared to the standard aluminium propeller. This has a lot more blade area in this area, where the racing one, this is basically cut off like that. If I try and sit this on top, you'll see, yeah, this portion of the blade here pokes out a lot more than the racing one. So that's just a quick visual. So often when I'm, modifying an aluminium propeller, I won't take too much, but I'll take, from here, and I'll just gently take a little bit of that area there off the blade. And then I'll do the same to each blade with a template and sharpen them up. Put a little bit of a bit of cupping on the back edge here, and then I'll balance them and go from there. Okay, so I've just used a industrial strength paint stripper on this. You don't need to strip your prop back normally, but I'm doing it with this one just because. All right, so I'm just going to draw what I normally take off for a starter. So I'm going to take that little piece there off. I'll make a template of this blade, and then I will transfer it to the other two blades and take that off as well. Now you can see how thick that's made this leading edge of the blade. We are going to need to sharpen this up after we cut the other ones. You never take material off the pressure side of the blade. You always sharpen them up on the back side of the blades, so this side. This shape here is very important. It cups the water, and if you round that down, it's going to change the pitch angles of the blade and stuff like that. So yeah, always take material off the back for sharpening and for balancing. It's important to number your blades. You know what you're working on then. And then ignore what this says on it, but I've made a template of this first blade, and now I can transfer that to the other blades, trace that on and cut them the same shape as that first blade, which I'm happy with. Okay, so I've got a little piece of aluminium with a rounded off corner. It's probably got about a 3mm radius on that corner, and it's rounded this way, just so I can work a little, bit of cupping onto the end of these blades. Now this is a reasonably cheap propeller, so I'm not sure what the aluminium is going to be like, whether it's going to crack or whatever. So I will just heat up this edge of the blade, soften it a little bit. I don't want to put a massive cup on this, because it's only for a 5 horsepower. So we've got a very small bit of cupping now on that blade. I've just got to clean up that area there, but with the cupping, do not continue around this face, because that's the side the water's coming from. You only want it on this very trailing edge, and from only about there to about there. So that's where the cupping, you add the cupping on. So I'm happy with that little cup, and I'll do that to the other blades before I start cleaning these up. So there's that little cup before I've cleaned it up. with aluminium props, they are very soft, so yeah, it's easy to dent this. But yeah, I just sand it up. I'll show you how to do that now. Nice. Some sandpaper. Just really get it in that corner there and try and don't take that outer edge off, but just try and clean up the marks on the inside of that cupping. Now that I've got that cupping to a place that I'm happy with it, we will get into sharpening this leading edge on the blades, that fat edge there. So yeah, we'll start shaving off the material on the back here to sharpen up that front edge. Always keep a very close eye on what you're taking off. You don't want to thin this out too much. So you can see that's one I haven't touched there. Quite thick in this part here, not so bad up here. So yeah, I'm trying to take off around this area here off to bring that thickness down at that leading edge. All right, now I've used that coarse flap disc in this grinder to get these blades down to, brought the front edge down to about 2 millimeters thick on all the blades. I'm going to use a finer flap disc and just start cleaning these up a bit more, blending in any of the marks, and then we'll go to a sanding disc. All right, so I've got a sanding disc here on a sander polisher. So I'll just blend all of these in. So I'm just going through and taking off the casting lumps and bumps. As you can see, stuff like this sort of lump right here at the bottom of this blade, it's going to make a difference and cause issues. So I'm just sort of sanding them all, so there's just a smooth surface for the water to run across. Take a little bit more off this one. Okay, so now I've got this propeller to a reasonably good finish. Bit of a rough state on the back of the blade still. I'm going to balance it. So I do have videos on how you can just set up 2 levels and balance your propellers at home. I have a balancing rig here. Anyway, so I'll just set up the camera and show you how to balance this. Okay, so you can see that I've numbered the blades there. So basically I've got a shaft that runs through this with centering screws that are cone shaped, so it sits into the hub, and I'll just sit this on here, and obviously the heavy blade will drop to the bottom. So blade number 3 is heavier. So what I'll do is I'll visually look to see if I can see somewhere in this blade that is thicker than the other blades, and I'll take a little bit more meat off somewhere on the back here until this propeller does not drop with that blade 3 at the bottom. So sometimes if it's sitting like that and blade 2 is in the air and blade 1 and blade 3 are at the bottom, you might have to take a little bit off both of those blades, just so that it evens out the balance. So in essence, you want to be able to put this on your prop leveling device, whether it's 2 levels or something like this. You want to be able to put it sort of anywhere and for it to sit in any position without a blade dropping to the bottom. Anyway, I'll go and sort out a bit of this now. Okay, so I've just taken a little bit more off this back edge on blade 3. So we'll just see how that has affected it. Okay, I think that's pretty close actually. Wasn't too bad. All right, this is a crude way to check the balance of your prop. If you put a prop in that shaft in a drill and it's out of balance, it's going to shake quite a lot. So I've just finished balancing this. Yeah, so there's no vibrations at all in that. Running very smoothly. Awesome. Yeah, so I'm not going to polish this up or anything at the moment because I still have a bit of testing and whatnot to do on this prop. But yeah, I'm going to chuck this on the motor and see the effect that what I've done already has made on it. And I'll go from there as to what else I want to do on this. But normally, if you do those few things to a prop, you'll have better grip in the water and better top end speed. I'll show you why removing this edge here possibly can create a little bit better top speed. I'll just explain a little bit of the theory about taking some of this blade leading edge off that we drew on the other blade, and what that'll do. Blade pitch is kind of measured through this sort of area here. So basically from the trailing edge to the leading edge, and removing some of that leading edge there, you actually will start increasing the blade pitch like this. So the further this comes back, you can see, because the blades have a sort of concave in them, you'll actually start increasing the blade pitch. So obviously increasing the blade pitch is going to bring the revs of the motor down, but removing some blade surface size, it's easier to spin, so it'll bring the revs back up. Again, adding a cup on the back edge here also increases the blade pitch. So that's something to keep in mind too. So having this lip on the back raises the trailing edge. Taking some of that front off reduces that, and so the blade pitch is actually increased. That's why taking some of that blade surface off there will increase the revs back up. Anyway, that's the theory of it. All right, so that prop is so much better. It doesn't cavitate at all whilst I turn. I couldn't video it as it's a tiny boat, but top speed is 34.8 kilometers an hour. That's only a 5 horsepower with a few tricks to it, but 34.8 k's an hour. So it's probably about a kilometer an hour faster than it was, and doesn't cavitate, so perfect. All right, so I've put a really nice shiny finish on that now. That prop is finished. I'm very happy with it. A little bit better top end speed, but the stock prop used to cavitate or aerate as I turn the corners, and this one has none of that at all, so very happy with that. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe for more of this sort of stuff. And if you want to give sort of modifying an aluminium propeller a go, do that. Keep in mind you can lose speed as well. Not all the modifications you do to a stock prop are going to gain speed. So it's definitely a sort of trial and error thing until you work out what works. But I've found with this sort of stuff, if your motor is spinning the stock prop really easily, and you're possibly even over revving a bit, you do this to your prop, it should give you a little bit better performance. And for those who noticed this nice little gear case in the corner with a nose cone and all that sort of stuff, this will be in some future videos. I've just added a water intake here instead of it used to suck up here. So the standard intake used to go down like this, and I've done a U-turn out here so that I can actually run this tube to a little scoop on the back of the boat and start raising this gear case out of the water and using surface piercing props. So this is coming up. Anyway, see you on the next one. Bye.